Hi folks, Florida Man here. I'm doing a special, different kind of after-action report today, intended to call attention to a specific problem I experienced in a game. This isn't really the first time I've experienced this issue, but it's the first time since having a YouTube channel, so this is the video you're getting. This video is called When a Stop the Leader Alliance Fails. It's about game 137423, Serious Communicative Players Please, a game I played on playdiplomacy.com. This ended with an English solo, and as I wasn't playing as England, you can understand why I'm not exactly satisfied with the result. I joined the game in spring 1905, taking over the surrendered Italian position. It wasn't a great position, and the general atmosphere of the game was bleak. I reached out to every power, trying to unify the East and turn France and England against each other, since the two of them were allied and were steamrolling over us. France staunchly refused to turn on England, while England essentially communicated that he was a very experienced player, that he was going to be very careful about when he decided to stab France, and that he would do it essentially when he was good and ready. So, I was pretty concerned. Fortunately, the Eastern powers seemed to understand the danger we were all in. Unfortunately, England and France kept advancing nonetheless. So, the way that season went wasn't ideal. After retreats, I felt my homeland's integrity was the top priority, so I moved to restore that. Fall 1905. I regained control of Rome, but I lost Tunisia and Trieste. England stabbed France brutally, and there was suddenly a new sort of threat on the horizon that had only been bubbling beneath the surface before. An English solo. Also, France surrendered, so we had to find a replacement, and Austria had remained alive, taking a center off me and creating a new power I had to try to coordinate with. New France was brought into our group chat, and we agreed that I would take a leap of faith and destroy the units in my homeland, while keeping those that could help defend Munich, spring 1906. We all agreed to push our forces up to the front lines. I asked Austria specifically to move to Tyrolia, essentially just so that I could eliminate him. So far, so good, right? Well, keep listening. Fall 1906. As we began discussing both moving forward and taking Austria out of the game, it became pretty clear that Turkey was getting greedy. He suggested that Trieste should be his, which didn't really make too much sense. I suggested it made more sense for me to have it since I'd just been pushed out of it, and since Turkish units were already having trouble reaching the front lines and would have to walk through German-controlled centers to get there anyway. I won the day with regard to that specific issue, but Russia and I began to get worried that Turkey was not going to be much of a team player. These concerns would turn out to be warranted. Russia ultimately brought his worries to Turkey very directly, since they were already disagreeing over who should have what. Turkey was being quite possessive of the Russian home center he possessed, and insisting that he needed to expand, hence the requirement that Russia push him out of Romania. I built a fleet in Naples, since I had armies close to the front line anyway, and as a group, we still held on to the vain hope that we would advance by sea against England. Spring 1907. Unfortunately, England continued to fight us very efficiently, while Russia and Turkey continued to fight each other. Despite the closeness of the English solo, Turkey had begun to insist on the elimination of Russia as his top priority. Fall 1907. Now, this conclusion Turkey had come to was very obviously an irrational one. I should be clear, Russia was in no way being impossible to work with, or even really as difficult to work with as Turkey was. I explained as much in a scathing message sent to the group, and directed at Turkey. England continued to advance, and now Russia attacked me, taking Trieste even as Turkey prepared to destroy him. Spring 1908. At this point, I'm so frustrated that even I get into the act. Time for me to self-destruct too. I've been very rational and patient with my so-called allies, but at this point, it's obvious we're done. So I attack Russia, retaliating for his ridiculous stab into me. He and Turkey are now both trying to spite each other by giving the game to England, so I might as well attack them a little bit. Turkey gives up Sevastopol to England at the same time, which pretty much finishes us off. Fall 1908. England grabs one more center in Paris, crowns himself king of the world, and we congratulate him on his victory. This was the final board position. Couldn't help but feel that we could have done something. Skilled though England was, I think that we could have stopped him, but we allowed our Stop the Leader alliance to fall apart. I am certain that if we had just put our differences aside and all thought about survival, and ideally what was best for the alliance, rather than, well, how much we could each get in terms of spoils, we would have stopped England. A disappointing ending for me, but I hope that this can be an object lesson for those who watch this video. Hope you enjoyed this. If so, I hope you'll consider liking and subscribing and checking out more of the stuff on the channel. Till next time, Florida Man out.